Friends, we're into 2024. I started the new year with a bit of a head cold. I still have the dregs, so I don't feel like singing just yet. And I wondered if I might try a recitation. I said, why not? One that sprang to mind was one that I used to hear my mother's cousin, Jimmy Malone, used to sing this as one of his party pieces. Jimmy Malone had a great influence in my young life. He was Mr. Malone from Malone's Garage at Navan Gate, and he had his dinner every day in our house. And he was very much interested in the arts and the theatre particularly. And this was, as I said, was one of his party pieces. Now, as you know, my sight is very compromised, and I have this typed out in very large type, and it's still only a blur, isn't it awful? Anyway, it was written by somebody called Marriott, Edgar. And if you heard it before, you might have, it was recorded by somebody called Stanley Holloway. It'll be, I think it's a North of England accent, I'm not too sure which, but anyway. It got the All in the Ark. One evening at dusk, as Noah stood on his ark, putting green oil in starboard side lamp, his wife came along and said, "Noah, somewhat's wrong. Our cabin is getting quite damp." Noah said, "Is that so?" When he went down below and found it were right what she'd said, for there on the floor quite a puddle he saw. It was slopping right under the bed. Said he, "There's an hole in the bottom somewhere. We must find it before we retire." Then he thought for a bit, and he said, "That's it. A bloodhound is what we require." So he went and he fetched the bloodhound from where it lay. Between the skunk and the polecat it were, and as things were below, there a trifle so, it were glad of a breath of fresh air. They followed the sound as it went all around. 'Twas last they located the leak. 'Twas a small hole in the side, about 2 inches wide, where a swordfish had poked in his beak. And by gum, how the wet squirted up through that hole, while young Shem, who at sums was expert, worked it out on his slate that it came at the rate of per gallon per second per squirt. The bloodhound tried hard to keep water in check by lapping it up with his tongue, but it came in so fast through that hole that at last he shoved in his nose as a bung. The poor faithful hound, he were very near drowned. They dragged him away none too soon, for the stream as it rose pushed its way up his nose and blew him up like a balloon. And then Mrs. Noah shoved her elbow in the hole and said, it stopped, I believe. But they found very soon as she'd altered her tune, but the water had got up her sleeve. When she saw as her elbow weren't doing much good, she said to Noah, "I have an idea. You sit on the leak, and by the end of the week, there's no knowing, the weather might clear." Noah didn't think much of this notion at all, but reckoned he'd give it a try. On the old down he flopped, and the leaking all stopped, and all except Noah was quite dry. They took him his breakfast and dinner and tea, as day after day there he sat, till the rain was all past, and they landed at last on the top side of Mount Ararat. And that is how Noah got them all safe ashore. But ever since then, strange to tell, them as helped save the ark has all carried a mark. Aye, and all their descendants as well. That's why dog has cold nose and ladies cold elbows. You'll also find, if you inquire, that's why a man takes his coat tails in hand and stands with his back to the fire.